You're watching Motion 5 with Michelle, and today we're going to discuss what is Project Browser and how to use it. When you open up Motion 5, the first thing that pops up after loading is the Project Browser. It has the same layout as Finder, which is helpful if you have been using Mac for a while. But if you're new to Mac, it's okay. I'll go through each panel before we begin. On the left, you have what's called the sidebar. The middle panel with icons is called Project Stack. On the upper right, you have Project Details, then Project Preview, and Summary at the lower panel. At the bottom here, we have some miscellaneous buttons I will go through later in this video. Done with the boring part, let's understand what all those panels do, shall we? Starting with the sidebar, there are 3 categories in this list: General category, Motion files, and Final Cut plugin category. Inside All is where you can access all the files inside Motion default folder. Now Blank is going to be your best friend for the next couple of months if you want to start learning Motion 5. You can start a blank project or open up a Final Cut plugin template in here. For me, blank icon is my go-to every time I use Project Browser. Next up, we have Recent tab. It's just a collection of recently used files. Let's move on. Composition list is a treasure trove of samples from Apple. Theme templates available for us to pull apart and learn from or use. So when you create new themes in the future, you can find them here too. Still remember the preview panel on the right? You can click on the icons in Project Stack to preview the animations here. We're finally here, Final Cut Pro plugins category, my favorite. These are like turbo booster for Final Cut Pro. And I get to create my very own titles, generators, effects, and transitions in Final Cut Pro 10. How cool is that? Now that we've covered sidebar and Project Stack, it's time for us to look at Project Details. When you click on the pop-up menu for preset, you can roughly see what Motion 5 can do. Motion 5 can create GIF animations called stickers for messages in iOS and Apple Watch. Presentations are for compositing corporate branding reels or advertisements. Broadcasts for short movies or YouTube videos even in HD. The limit for what you can do with Motion 5 is 4K cinema and 360 video editing for now. It does depend on your hardware specifications though. Regarding the frame rates, it's important to match the source input and output frame rate. Check on your camera frame rate and check on your export frame rate requirement before you begin. Duration. As a beginner, using seconds is easier for me, but try out both. I've read that frame rates are trickier, but it's more precise. Good to pick up once you're familiar with editing. Remember the bottom miscellaneous section I told you I was going to cover? These are actually advanced features you may not use as a beginner. But for those who bought Motion 5 compositions, yes, you can buy them. These files can be imported here. Click on the button Open Other. Finder will pop up for you to navigate to the folder you bought. The button to the right called Import as Project can be used when you have prepared a folder with all the images and videos ready to be imported. Click Import as Project. All the files you have selected previously will be imported as layers, all ready to roll. Well, that's all about Project Browser from me. If you want to know more about Motion 5, please subscribe and support me at my webpage at michetintin.com. I'll see you in the next video. Adios!